Welcome back to another fit on Social Route and Green Suit. This is our third podcast on the YouTube channel. Recorded in the middle room.
Yeah.
I hope you can hear my microphone, what I put away my wireless. I sadly can't get it to work. But my microphone on my phone is quite good. This video is all about the German election and what it means for the UK and the for the world. We're going to go through several talking points. Talking points we are doing.
Yeah.
We're on the go. We're even going to talk for half the video because I don't know nothing really about German politics.
Hi, I'm Liam. On the other hand, I do know a fair bit about German politics. German politics is obviously in a state of flux as we enter the critical election period of February 2025, following the collapse of the German government that was previously run by the SPD, the Sozialistische Partei Deutschland, the FDP and the Green Party of Germany. The first talking point going into this German election podcast unfortunately brings it round to Elon Musk, someone that has unfortunately got a lot of power right now as the effective shadow president of the United States. He has been supporting the far-right party in Germany called the Alternativ for Deutschland Partei, which is very on brand for Elon considering his support for the far-right in recent years. Unfortunately, his impact could have this could have a far-reaching impact across German politics and worldwide. So his support for the AfD has come as the AfD has become very boosted in the German polls heading into the recent election. They have been, since the summer of 2023, Germany's second largest party in the polls, with some parties predicting that in this election cycle or the next election cycle that they could become the biggest party in Germany via their proportional representation voting methods in Germany. As the German election is via proportional representation, of course that means the percentage of votes equals your seat share in the parliament. The AfD could essentially become a kingmaker in this election, along with the centre-right party, the Christian Union Party, as the Union are currently predicted to get less than 30% of seats, and the AfD are currently predicted to get around 25% of seats, which means they could, as has been floated by Union leader Friedrich Merz, lead to a coalition between Union and the AfD. The AfD have many critical...
Are we going to say what point we are in? You could be losing people right now.
That was the first 2 points. So what we're going to cover is just a couple of the key points that could influence the German election.
Economic states. Now we're going into economic states.
Yeah. The economy in Germany is a critical issue for many voters in light of recent challenges. Voters are concerned about inflation, job security, economic growth, but also, more importantly, they're just worried about whether they can pay for their groceries and such, which, as we know, far-right policies actually don't help with the price of eggs or groceries. They just make them skyrocket. But the economy is a critical issue that the AfD have latched onto and created lies about, essentially, to try and boost support for their party. Inflation in Germany is not too bad comparative to the rest of the European Union. Job security is actually rather strong, but economic growth, as with most countries in the light of the pandemic, is a concern. I don't think there's anything more you can add to that.
No, I don't know nothing about German. I don't think my mouth's up personally in the video. I don't know nothing.
Yeah. The next point is immigration. This remains a high priority concern for a large amount of German voters, especially in rural areas like Bavaria, where I've personally been in the past. I have heard people talking about their concerns about immigration. The German election has been full of debates between the parties based on integration policies and border security. The AfD's approach is like the Reform Party here. They want to limit migration massively and argue that any migrant coming into Germany should align with their values, whatever their values will be is mainly just being bigoted, unfortunately. But there's a discussion, but the discussion also largely focuses on people speaking the language. There are concerns with some voters about Ukrainian refugees coming to Germany and not learning the language. I don't think that's an issue. I think people integrate quite easily into cultures around them when they feel easily appreciated. Border security is another, in the immigration sector, is another thing consistent with what most countries will debate about around election periods. But border security in Germany is obviously, along with EU standards, pretty good.
Fifth point.
Fifth point, anxiety and hope. There is, as with most elections, anxiety from people and hope from some people too. It just depends which message wins out the most. Is it going to be the message the right tends to peddle regarding the fear of people coming in from elsewhere, fear of protected groups, or is it going to be the hope that can be provided by more progressive left-wing parties like Die Grüne, Die Bündnis 90, otherwise known as the Green Party in Germany? The political climate in Germany is marked by a mix of anxiety about what the future can bring, but also hope of change, and that can obviously influence voter turnout and their preferences. And their preferences are always going to be linked to the rhetoric people tend to most commonly associate themselves with, if they don't easily fall into the traps that the right set with their fake attempts at economic populism, which, as we've seen in America, is just a way of boosting growth for the rich and keeping poor people oppressed. Sixth point, the ideology of the AfD compared to its other competitors in this election, let's say, is characterised by its heavily right-wing stance. It is right-wing populist, which I don't think actually can be considered real populism, because right-wing populism tends to be, again, another thing that benefits the wealthy. They advocate also for stricter immigration controls, as we've already leaned towards, and national sovereignty and their belief of what are German traditional values. Again, I think would agree, it's quite alike with the Reform Party here, with them using nationalist values and sovereignty as a springboard for them among people who see these things as key issues. Moving on to the AfD's key policies that are influencing their rise in the polls and influencing their possible impact in German politics and wider European politics in coming years, should they become a party in government. The AfD, with regards to immigration and asylum, advocate for a strict immigration policy, stricter than what most European nations have. They call for reduced asylum admissions and the deportation of illegal immigrants, akin to what we're hearing in the UK from not Reform as much, but more so the UKIP party in recent months have been very much peddling the message about illegal immigrants with their mass deportation rallies. And they often frame immigration as a threat to German culture and security, which is a tool the right wing always using others as a way to suggest that they are a threat to traditional culture and society. Adding to that, again, national identity plays a strong role in the far-right nationalist playbook. The AfD promotes a strong sense of German nationalism, emphasising the preservation of German culture and opposing multiculturalism, which, when you hear some voters, they do seem somewhat opposed to multiculturalism, but not broadly speaking. Again, I referred to when people were talking about Ukrainian refugees and arguing, well, they don't speak our language, so they're not really following German values. I think they're trying, they're just in a very tricky situation right now, as we all would agree. On economic policy, the AfD was initially critical of the euro and was a soft Eurosceptic party before it became a hard Eurosceptic party. The AfD now focuses on advocating for policies that they claim will protect German workers, but arguably will just damage German workers and German economy in general by including policies that oppose globalization and promoting local industries. Promoting local industry is a tool that most parties can use to build support for them, but the AFD's message is one of fear that pushes local businesses, not promoting local businesses through positive means. And that is our rundown on the AFD, the impact that they could hold as we head into this critical election that could influence German politics and European politics.
And what do it mean for the UK?
And what it means for the UK is a very important question to ask. We do have a strong link with Germany, culturally and historically, ever since the creation of the European Union. Since we've left the EU, I think we have maintained a close link to our European cousins, but the impact it could have is probably a more isolationist approach from Germany, a view that is maybe more critical of the United Kingdom and its broader European neighbours. I think it will undoubtedly have an impact. The level of impact it will have on the UK depends on the level of impact it will have on the EU, because despite Brexit, I still think the UK and EU are very closely linked together. They still work together on many certain issues, including defence.
Now more with the new government trying to repair the broken damage.
Yeah, well, they're not, in my view, I don't think they're doing quite enough to repair that broken damage. But yes, it will undoubtedly have an effect. It will have an effect on European politics, of course, on German politics, and it will have a trickle-on impact elsewhere, in America, in the UK, because we will have to most likely maintain relations with a government that, if the election goes as many people perceive, we will see the AFD have a seat in at the governing table in Germany. So it will be difficult to maintain, I think, a good relationship, considering there are quite broad differences in opinion between between our government and the government and the possible government of Germany. Although, unfortunately, this Labour government would probably seem to have quite a lot of things in lockstep with them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my opinion. It will undoubtedly have an impact.
Yeah. I've got really nothing to add. You want to see the
Of course, feel free to leave a comment down below. Leave us your thoughts on this topic.
You want to see the script of the video? Link is always in the description below the video. It's the key talking point we've gone through, and you want to have your own video for them. We will link some polls in the description below too of the German election. And you got nothing to add to that?
No.
Alright, we're going to end of this video right here. We hope you enjoy. Click that like button, ding that notification bell, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And our next video on podcast will be LGBT History Month. Can't tell you where that will be. It'll be in February, of course.
Yep.
But I can't tell you what date.
Thank you for watching, and goodbye.